The families of 144 mentally ill patients who died now 5 years ago are still calling for justice. They lost their lives in 2016 following their relocation from Life Esidimeni facilities to ill-equipped and unregistered NGOs. The inquest seeks to establish who should be held accountable for this tragedy. For more this morning, we're joined by Nxumalo from the Life Esidimeni Family Committee. Christine, very good morning to you. Thank you so much for always being available to speak to us. The latest inquest, Christine, being paused for the year. Do you have faith in the outcomes of this one?
We have hope. I'm not going to lie to you. And in morning, and thank you for having us. Honestly, Michelle, we have hope. That's really all we have right now.
Yeah, difficult road that you and so many other families have traveled since that first inquiry chaired by Dikgang Moseneke, which was harrowing in itself for you to have to relive the final moments of your loved ones. Perhaps give our viewers a sense, Christine, of how you fit into the story of Life Esidimeni.
Well, my sister is one of the people who died in the inquest, in the Life Esidimeni tragedy. And shortly after her death, her daughter passed away, and it was because of I suppose the trauma that she suffered watching her mom and going through all of this. And then in the bigger scheme of things, I've just been working with the families, the bereaved families, just to, keep the fight, keep us going, and just looking after each other and pulling strength from each other.
I suppose an important part of finalizing this latest inquiry, finding out who the person or persons or organization is that should be held accountable, is closure for the families, right? But there are so many outstanding issues.
There are a lot of outstanding issues. But like you're saying, healing and closure for us is, I think, at the top of the list. But the other issues still remain, like the monument is still not being discussed or moved forward with. The care of the other survivors and just generally the rest of the public using these facilities. Because for us, it's not just to get people, in jail or accountable, but also to improve the system, really. Because that's, I think, would be ideal for all of us.
We said almost 6 years ago, over 5 years, almost 6 years ago is when this tragedy happened. As far as you can see, Christine, and I'm sure you're in touch with many people, the families of survivors, as you say, has anything improved insofar as mental health and how it's tackled in public hospitals, in public health?
No. The improvement, if there is any, is very slight. Very, very slight. We talk more about mental health now. It seems an acceptable topic, but the actual care and attention and what is required to go into mental health still has not changed.
COVID-19 also didn't do us any favors.
Well, it didn't help in Gauteng that we had an MEC who was disconnected, because as much as we wanted to find out what was going on with mental health care users in these facilities, we were snubbed at every turn.
So, Christine, when does the inquest resume, and when will we have an outcome? Do you know?
We don't know, but we're thinking before June next year we will have some kind of feedback. But then again, that's not the end of it all. We still have to go through a whole court process. Hopefully the NPA will do what is required of them this time, without having to be nagged and bugged and pushed. Once that process is done, then it's another court process, which will be the trial, the actual criminal trials.
Tell us more about the criminal trial, Christine. Tell us more about how you see that unfolding.
It's we know it has to happen, Michelle, but the problem is we don't even know what this inquest is going to, give out. So whether people will be charged, because we know murder is a tall order. But we're thinking culpable homicide, negligence, that type of thing. So once we know who is charged with what, then we know going into the criminal proceedings, they would have to prove that they did not, that they did not have their hands in those processes, which we know will be very difficult to prove. So we're just really praying and hoping, that if nothing else, people must know that if you fight for the right thing, you must not give up. And it's been a very long fight for us.
I mean, there were so many mental health facilities that were involved in this disastrous relocation. A number of names sort of escape me, but you'll know them best. Those facilities that were so ill-equipped, some of them not even registered, where patients were moved from Life Esidimeni to these facilities. Do you know whether they have now closed down?
They had no choice but to close down. Mm-hmm. To say that they were facilities would be giving it some kind of credit. These places or homes that were suddenly opened because the Department of Health needed space to put these mental health care users. That's what they were. They were not facilities. There were people taken from wherever they were taken to say, do you have space? Are you interested in this? We pay per person. Mm. That's what these facilities were. They were not NGOs. They were not registered. Some had some experience. But to be honest with you, these were not NGOs.
Yeah. I've just been reading through your account of what happened with your sister again. And part of it, you describe the treatment that she received at Life Esidimeni. She was at one of the organizations linked to Life Esidimeni. The fact that you as family members, you were getting updates all the time. You visited her regularly. She was improving. And then there was the sudden news of her death.
From the last visit, where we were actually happy, and it was very difficult to leave her that day. Mm. And like I say, little did we know we were saying goodbye. She was smiling, she was laughing. And then for 2 weeks, we couldn't find her. The very Department of Health, the very Nxumalo, who suddenly doesn't remember anything, could not tell me where they had placed my sister. So you see the disingenuousness of what they are saying at this inquest. It's actually breaking the family's hearts because they know exactly. And this Nxumalo that is playing innocent now, I wish you had seen her during this time. You would have thought she was kingmaker. I promise you. This innocence that you see on the stand, no, it wasn't there. And it probably would have been appreciated during that time. Mm. So, I'm sorry, but I just get so angry thinking about the inquest. Yeah, absolutely. Understandably so. Christine Nxumalo, let me thank you for your time this morning. I know it's very difficult for you to have these kinds of conversations. Christine and many other family members as well, still looking to find closure and healing in what was the worst healthcare disaster in our country's history. Christine, thanks very much indeed for talking to us.